Do you ever get to a point in a song where your drums and your bass sounds good, but no matter what synth or melody you add, nothing seems to fit? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you how to use what you already have in the project to create a counter melody that doesn't get cheesy or end up overcrowding the mix. Oh, and before I forget, if you like the bass sound on this song I'm about to play to you, you can download it for free in the description below. Let's get into it. Okay, so first let me give you an idea of what the song is that we're going to be working on today to see if it's your style or not.
I love chaos.
Dance.
Okay, so I've got to this point in the song, and I'm starting to wonder, where the hell can I go next? I'm laying it out into my sections. It's a big part of my workflow, this, that I teach, laying it out into the sections. Now, I've got another section here. I've already introduced some synths. I've tried lots of different things in this section. Nothing really seems to be working. Now, my go-to when this happens is to look what we already have here and what can we develop with what we already have. One of my favorite things to do with a big driving track like this, very underground, is to work on a counter melody to the bass line, because that is the driving force of the song. But what do I mean by counter melody? Well, let me show you this in a different track. So I've got a big commercial housey track here. Again, I'll just give you a playthrough so you can see what it sounds like. So what I want to talk about in this track, because it is so melodic, I've got my main chords that play like this. And in this song, it's obviously the synths that are the driving part of the song. There's a very housey piano style. Now, you'll see this here named counter. When I turn this on, it brings a layer of interest to the melody. There is a little counter in the back, but the main one is here. Now listen to the change in section here. If I turn that off and let it go into that section, you'll hear it's very bland, and that is the issue with the more underground song I'm working on today. Sounds very samey. So my idea is to integrate a counter melody like that, but with a bass line, and that's exactly what I'm going to show you today. Okay, so let's loop over the section. Okay, so I've already selected a patch. The way I will select the patch for this is I will drag my main melody of my bass line down and find a sound that I think works quite well with the actual original melody. And I will work off of this original melody. So I'm going to go into it. And what I'm thinking is a bit of a groove syncopation feeling. So it's a good idea to turn the kick on, the bass on for this. Okay, and just start chopping these notes up a little bit with the 16th grid. Now I know obviously that the second 16th note and the fourth 16th note is going to bring some syncopated groove. So I'm going to maybe add a couple of them in. Let's see. Already sounding quite cool. Let's groove it here with the syncopated notes. Okay, I'm going to actually play it with the rest of the track so we can see if it's doing anything good or bad. No, don't like that. Okay, let's turn that one off. I'm just going to work through from left to right like this, adding that kind of contrast. Okay, that's working for me. Maybe not this note here. No, don't like that. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. And you see, I'm just breaking this melody up a little bit. I'll start with the key of the original bass line, like here, and just work along this little strip. Now, there's only 4 places that this note could possibly go. If it doesn't work in any of them, then I know to remove it. For example, let's try it on the kick. Can't even hear that, so let's move it to the next 16th note. Not bad. Let's extend it, see if it sounds good. Don't mind that. Groove it again here. Okay, and now we're starting to create the response to that call. It's left with some tension over this side, which naturally feels like it needs releasing. So I'm going to work over this side. I'm just going to decide whereabout am I going to add the response. So let's give it a couple of notes in here. Ba-ba-bum-ba-ba-bum. That's what I'm hearing. Ba-ba-bum-ba-ba-bum. So whenever I've got 2 notes next to each other, the non-syncopated one I will always make shorter. Remember, non-syncopated, because that's the kick and the open hat. So it means that if we move them across, they are now both syncopated, meaning the swing setting is getting applied and it's bringing groove to the project. So the non-syncopated, this one, I'm making shorter because it's followed up by a syncopated one, and that will give me a nice effect. Now, what is happening here? Well, because it goes non-syncopated, non-syncopated, then syncopated into 2 non-syncopated notes, gives us this like fast, slow feeling. So it's like dancing around the bass line. That's what I'm kind of aiming for here. Similar to a snare, I'm going to give it a bit of a roll at the end. Bum. Nice. Okay, I can work with that. So now that we've got the melody that's kind of doing something for us, it's okay. I mean, I'm not fully sold on it yet, but I will be able to tell if it's going to work or not after I do some sound design to it. So relatively happy where we're. Let's hear it with the bass line so you can really tune into what's happening. Just kind of dancing around the track a little bit. So let's work with the sound design. Let's try it at a different pitch first. Maybe have that as a layer later, but so I might give it some envelope, as right now it doesn't really have anything happening to the cutoff. So I'm going to change this cutoff to a 24 dB cutoff, so it's a bit more. More subtle like that, and then I'm going to assign envelope 2 to the cutoff, back off it a lot. Don't want it to take over my main bass, I just want it to sit there. So let's hear it come in, and then I can really start making some proper decisions. Okay, liking that. So a few effects to it. Let's add a delay and delay the tops a bit. Now, it might be a little bit busy for this effect to work well. So I'm going to go on the setting 2, feedback and dry wet all the way down. Very, very low. And we'll just dial it in subtly and only want to be delaying the tops. So it's already got some width on it because the preset that I was working with earlier, I added some unison over here. So it's already wide, it's out the way of the main bass line. So I think I'm going to try a bit of a random one because a lot of people would recommend you not to use reverb on a bass line, but I'm just trying to give it a little bit of its own space in the mix because it is very low end heavy, this track anyway. So I'm going to dial back the dry wet a little bit. So I'm going to try another layer. I've duplicated that we just made. I'm going to pitch this bottom one up 12 semitones. See if there's any kind of one shots within it we like. Okay, quite like the first two notes. Maybe not this one though. And these end ones here. So it sounds like this sounds way better on the E key. So let's keep everything over. Let's get rid of everything other than the E. I can see just from my bass line now, I've started to build in these extra layers. Let's go back a little bit and hear how the track evolves over time.
Dance.
So first step, synths come in. So it's getting very busy there. I would have to strip some back, but working with a counter melody for your bass line is extremely helpful. Now for this to work, your drums need to also be good. And if you need help writing them, watch this video next.